lessons learned from the long road trip, and how glad are you to be back at home?
Definitely glad to be back home. No, listen, I mean, I think we've got such a young group in terms of it's all the lessons, how we travel, how we prepare, how we're in hotels, how we adjust to the different pieces of food and things like that. So tons of lessons to learn, and we're doing all right with it. Like I said, we're such a I want to say the word young, inexperienced group, that it's really good to get the experience for these kids for later down the line.
Are you seeing the resiliency you feel like you probably need to push through a situation like this?
No, without a doubt. It's these kids all come from really, really good programs where they've consistently won, and that was one of the reasons why we recruited them and brought them in. They were all top players within that environment. So no, it's. I think if you're not careful, you see on the practice field do this, and we haven't. I mean, we just had probably one of our better sessions of the year this morning. Energy was fantastic. They're moving the ball really well. Great attitude to all the different pieces. So, we still feel really good about the group.
Obviously, the offense kind of started to come together there. Had the couple goals versus Northern Arizona. What's the next step? How do you maintain that offensively?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we're still getting too stretched as a group. The spaces from our back line up to the front line are too big, so we're putting too much weight on the front line in terms of them holding the ball up and doing all the work in terms of the attacking side of the game. And obviously that's their job, but they can't do it just the 4 of them up top or the 5 of them up top. We need reinforcements to come underneath to build greater depth below the ball, and so we can sustain attacks, keep the ball in the attacking part of the field. So it's continuing to build on those pieces to give that front 5 more help.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of things you feel like you can fix, clean up, improve on. What are things you like so far? What are some things you felt like that's going about as well as we might have hoped right now? Yeah, I mean,
when we do get behind teams, we're stretching teams without a doubt. I felt as though from a defending standpoint, we've started to click into gear for the early parts of games. Obviously we conceded the goal there against Northern Arizona, but I thought for the first 20 versus Grand Canyon we were really good. In terms of getting pressure to the ball and things like that. And then you see there's little moments where we're able to, get players faced up into spaces, the things that we talk about. And then you see certain combinations starting to happen. So little glimpses, and they're happening more and more, but we're obviously aware we need to put it together for 90 minutes.
Obviously, one of the storylines of this season is going to be the goalkeeper. It's coming off of last year especially. How would you grade Maddie's performance so far? What are you looking for her to improve as she goes forward?
I think, good shot stopping's been great, you know what I mean, in terms of that. She's done a really good job with that. I think she's handled set pieces really well as an individual. I think their control overall over the back line and the space behind the back line needs to continue to improve. And we talk about that every day. Goalkeepers have to get a hold of the 2 centre backs, get a hold of the 2 outside backs, and make sure they can control the space between themselves and that back 4. So there's really good competition within all 4 of the goalkeepers. Really, it's been so good that we've been taking 3 of them on the road. You know what I mean? Typically we take 2 on the road. We've been taking 3 of them on the road to keep the competition good. So Maddie's been doing well, but the 3 behind them have been pushing her as well.
Tomorrow's opponent, their form of play, do they remind you of any other team you've seen already this season?
Yeah, shapes are similar, you know what I mean? They're athletic, again, we scheduled these teams for a reason. They're good teams, they'll go forward quickly off a transition, and so we need to be aware of that piece. We need to do what we're able to do to kill the transition. Number one, we spoke about it, we need to keep a hold of the ball more. You kill transitions by not giving the ball away. So when we're up into those higher parts of the field, it's not, taking a shot in the dark at times. It's completing 1 or 2 extra passes so we can keep the ball in that part of the field.
The starting lineup, you've rotated a few different players in and out. Has there been more of a function of who's available? Have you been trying to see what you have, and what's the plan going forward?
A little bit. I'd still got the 3 coming off of their ACLs, so they weren't able to train and play in the spring. And they're 3 players who, we knew had big futures for us. So they've been on minute restrictions. Those minute restrictions are kind of coming off now. We knew that at the start of the year, so we had to play them in and taking them out halfway through halves or a half time, and so that's played something into the rotation a little bit. We're pretty close now to a settled starting 11.
Anything you'd like to say about Callum Harrington? Obviously long journey for her. Started with the minutes restriction. Now she's kind of getting that starting role. What can you say about her and what she's done so far, both on and off the field?
I can say a lot about Callum, but all good things. I mean, she's such a big energy kid, and anytime a kid walks in a room, she lights the room up, and she's just so direct, and she's got a nose for it, and it's given her the freedom to go at players and run at players and running behind. I mean, you don't score that amount of goals at any level without having an idea where the goal is, and so she's a threat more and more. So we've got to continue to find ways to isolate her and set her up. But I don't know if you guys have interviewed her or not yet, but you need to get her on here because she's just a massive character. It's pretty cool, really cool kid.
The goal she had last week, I mean, I know my soccer knowledge is limited, but the degree of difficulty looked pretty high on that goal.
Yeah, I mean, she's gambled and just ran behind, and there's a certain knack to that of, you're seeing a ball coming through and you're taking a chance on running onto something that might not get to you, and she's kind of got that nose for it, where she ran on, and a great little touch with her chest, and then obviously there's the pressure on the inside of her, pressure of the goalkeeper coming, and she lifts it over the two of them. So it's I think Callum had such a great start to the season last year. I think in the spring of last year when she was fit, she was exceptional in the spring scoring goals, and so that's what Callum does. You know what I mean? And so she's so happy she's back playing, and just to see that kid smile, and because that's what she wants to do. She wants to play, and to see her smile and have joy and fun doing that is so cool to see.
I'm sure you knew there were going to be bumps going into the season early on. What's your message to the team? How do you kind of get them to mentally stay in the right place and not be too worried about the results while still, obviously there's a pressure to succeed?
We're a good team, you know what I mean? We just haven't put it all together again. I mean, it's, we show them on video, but when we do put it together, how good it can be. It's getting their input as well. It's finding out from them, hey, what more do you need from us as a coaching staff, and in terms of things, and and we just tell them all the time when we're not far away, and it's not been consistent mistakes that have hurt us. It's been mistake here that maybe a little bit naive with regards to this piece, so we need to do a better job as a coaching staff of coaching that piece. We get that piece taken care of, okay, and then something else, and then it's not been the same thing consistently happening. So it's lessons we've taken, it's lessons we continue to teach as coaches, and so we're hoping that as we continue along here, those get less and less.
A lot of the minutes, a lot of the starts, a lot of the productions come from freshmen. What can you say about their performance, and are there any standout performers you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, Kristen Conti, she's one who's obviously a redshirt freshman. She did her ACL before she got here last year, and she's now virtually full go now in terms of being released from all her pieces. She's going to be such a good player here at Oregon. She's big, she's strong, she's athletic, she's a smart kid, good in the air, prototypical centre back, good pace. So she's been great. Mia McSweeney's taken a bout of minutes right away. Ryan Reynolds was good for us last weekend in terms of holding the ball up. We had such a kind of Nate took such a brunt for us last year of playing up top, and tied towards the end of the season. So Ryan's able to help her out. Livy, even though she got a couple of games in last season, she's still a freshman in terms of getting her minutes. I could go on about all the freshmen. They've all done exceptional. Mary Snyder, in terms of she's learning. It's difficult to play in that role on your own as a six, and I thought she was exceptional against Missouri State when she did it. So they're learning lessons all the time, and so it's us to continue to keep them in a good place and a good headspace, because they're doing well.
How are your veterans holding up? We talked to some of your veterans going into this season.
Yeah.
New leadership roles for them.
Yeah.
How are they handling? There's some pressure on them, I'm sure, to kind of keep the ship going the right direction too.
Yeah. I spoke to them. I mean, when we say veterans, our veterans are like our sophomores right. In terms of it. So, we have a couple of juniors, and they've done a good job. Joanna Phillips has, been around here, and I think she was the only freshman playing in the 21 season. So she's seen that piece as well, and so they've been good about getting to different people without the locker room. The four leaders, it's Nay, Livy, Trinity, and Anna Phillips have done a good job, because they're all different types of characters, and we felt as though they could get to different people within the locker room, and so they've done a nice job of that, of just getting to different people and making sure different people are in a good place.
You talk some about the shape of California Baptist. What are you highlighting for your players going against a really experienced California Baptist team and Denver at home as well? What are you highlighting for the team?
We're a team that's, and we've always been this way, and even more so right now. We need to focus on ourselves. Listen, whenever you do a scout report, you're always gonna, you'd be naive to not to mention an opposition or things like that. But it's focusing on us and making sure we play to the best of our ability, because we believe in the talents that we have. We believe in the characters we have in the team. So it's making sure that they perform to the best of their ability.